Hi everybody, this is Michelle with Creative Operation and Country Craft Creations, and today I want to share with you a walkthrough of my first design team project using the awesome paper Bewitching Hour from Country Craft Creations. And I love the paper and I love the colors, and this is a really fun album to do. So it's really kind of easy to put together, but let me tell you, you got to go to Country Craft Creations at countrycraftcreations.com and get your papers, because this is just a really beautiful collection. So let's go ahead and get started with the album. So my concept with this album is that I wanted to do kind of a December daily kind of thing for October. So I'm calling this my Bewitching Hour October daily mini album. And my husband and I love Halloween. We just go crazy for Halloween. And a couple times, I don't do this every year, but a couple times I have done, like, you know, the picture a day for the whole month. And it kind of culminates into, you know, Halloween night. And that's kind of my thinking behind this book. So I wanted to kind of have enough places for like a picture a day, and then I also wanted to have pockets to put things like you know, recipes that I want to try if I want to have like a spooky dinner party, or you know, things like that. So that was kind of my concept for this album. So let's get started. I'll tell you, I did use a couple pieces of 12 by 12 chipboard. I used 12 pieces of black Artisan cardstock to cover the covers and make the pages. And then I used a couple pieces of paper out of my stash in purple and orange to kind of do some photo mats and things like that. I also used this paper collection. I used the 12 by 12 pack, and I used 13 pages of it. So, you know, it doesn't take quite a whole, it takes, you know, about half of a package of paper to do this, but it gave me enough to have leftovers to make some tags and all kinds of stuff. So I did the cover really simply. I fell in love with this paper here, and I wanted to incorporate that into my cover. And then this was actually part of the upper part of this paper. So I cut it out and I used that as the title. Now what I did was I took a piece of chipboard that I had left over and covered it with some leftover black cardstock, and then matted this phrase, and then with the purple that I had, and then put it on the chipboard. So it kind of popped it up a little bit. So instead of using foam tape, I actually used a piece of chipboard to do that. These flowers here I did buy from Country Craft Creations, and this little flower here, if you can see it, I used some of the pattern paper that was left over from fussy cutting out the little things, and created my own flowers. So I did use my old hydrangea punches and punched out the little pieces, and I did have enough to make 3 flowers, so I used 2 of them on the inside as well, and then a little black enamel dot that I had in my stash. The seam binding came in my design team package, so I just used that to simply just do one tie closure. On the spine, I used one of the cutaparts here and just backed it on some cardstock and just made a nice plain spine for that. And then on the back, I used a piece of the top of this paper that was up here, like I did this, and then just backed it onto some cardstock and put that on the back of the album. So pretty simple, but absolutely gorgeous. And I just love the paper there, and the purple tied in with the purple that I wanted to use for my tie. So when you open this book up, I'll show you. It has 2 pages, but the pages are very interactive, so I have things going on. So we're going to go through this. So the front inside covers have a pocket, and then this was cut out of one of the papers. It had pumpkins on the bottom and ghosts on the top, and I used the pumpkins for the pockets, and they just fit perfect with this. And then leftover papers that I had that I created some tags with, just backed them with black cardstock. I used some black seam binding from my stash and some twine from my stash, and then just set eyelets and then just tied those. So I just wanted to make some more tags, and then this was one of the cut-aparts that I went ahead and cut out and then backed it on black cardstock. So admit one for the masquerade. So decided to use that as a tag in here. Now each page is the same, although they are put together opposite of each other. So you'll make 2 of these, but we'll put them together so that they are, you know, mirror each other, I should say. When you open this up, this tie, this holds the whole thing together. So you have one tie for each page, so there's no magnets or anything like that. And I did kind of a variation of my roundabout waterfall. So we have plenty of picture opportunities here. I did use some of my cardstock from my stash to make mats. And then under here, I have one of the cards that I cut and put on a piece of paper to go in here. So each of these waterfall pages will hold 16 pictures. So you can have, you know, a picture a day, you know, for the first half of October here, and then the second half back here. So we totally could do that. But then there's more, because then it opens up like this. We have another pocket. I took 2 more of the cut apart cards and backed them on cardstock, so we have that. And then we also have lots of room to put things like if you go to parties and you get a really cool invitation, if you're giving a party and you make a really cool invitation, your recipes, you know, anything like that. I also, when I do this and do an October daily kind of thing, and when we throw a party, I have used this as part of my party planner as well. So it holds all of my notes and receipts and everything else too. So, you know, it's pretty fun to do. This is a cut apart that I put on, so you could put a picture on this side. And then this page opens up, again, another spot for another picture. And then it opens up again to reveal this beautiful layout. And these girls, I'm telling you what, they're absolutely adorable. So there's that. And then this page I left blank, so you could put pictures on there or whatever. You could also use clips. You could clip things on here, so you don't actually have to put, you know, glue on the page if you don't want to. So lots of options with this album. So then this ties, and then like that, it holds the whole thing together. So then the back side, again, another pocket. This was a cut apart that I just cut apart and then backed on cardstock. And then 2 more tags that I made with leftover papers. So great place for pictures. And then if you have one of those white pens, you could totally do journaling back here. And then this side opens up again, so it's basically mirroring everything. So again, you can do 16 more pictures here. And then one of the cards, again, on a piece of cardstock. And you could layer more things in there if you wanted to. But I just put the one in there for now. So this closes up. And then my thinking on this was like, this is great because you can put pictures in for the, you know, second half of the month, and things in the pockets and do whatever you wanted to do. But then in the middle, this is for Halloween. So you can take 4 really nice pictures from actual Halloween day, and this is the layout for the last day of the month. So I did make it so that, let me see if I have this. I did use this cut apart on cardstock, and I made it so you could put the pictures underneath there, as well as this one, and then 2 flowers here that I bought from Country Craft Creations. I just thought the colors matched everything really perfect. And then I made 2 more little flowers with my punches. And then here, these were little tiny circle cut aparts that I went ahead and punched out, and then I backed them on a piece of cardstock, and then I used my Nuvo, excuse my reach, crystal glaze, and then just enameled it, and then used that as part of the decoration as well. So that is it. It's pretty simple. It doesn't take a whole lot to put it together, but it turned out really cool, and it's going to be a really nice album. The gussets are 3/4, so I have plenty of room to put things in here, add pictures, add any additional things like recipes or invitations or whatever you want to do. So this is my album. This is my Bewitching Hour October Daily. That's what I'm going to call it. I'm sticking with that story, and I am going to use it this year, and hopefully things will mellow out so that we can have a lot of Halloween fun this year. So all right, let's get started with the tutorial. Now the first thing that we're going to do is build our lay flat chipboard cover. And I'm not going to do that on the video. I did do a separate video, so if you're not familiar with this method of making a cover that lays completely flat when you open it, I will have a link down in the description so that you can see that video, but I'm going to give you all of the measurements that you need for making this cover. So let's start with the chipboard measurements. So you will need 2 pieces that are the front and the back that are 8.5 by 8.5, and then you'll need the spine piece here that's 2.25 by 8.5. Okay, so that's the chipboard pieces. Now to cover the chipboard, you will need 2 pieces that are 10.5 by 10.5. You will need 1 piece that's 5.25 by 10.5. Now those will be the pieces that cover the outside of your chipboard. Okay, so when you put it together, those pieces will be the outside. And then the last piece you'll need is the one that covers the inside spine, that is 6 by 8 3/8. And then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to create pockets for the inside of our covers. So you will need 2 pieces that are 9.5 by 3.5. So you're going to go ahead and take those and put them in your scoreboard. And for each one, putting the 9.5 at the top, you're going to score at half and then at 9, and then turn it, and then you can score at 3, which is how I turned it. If you turn it the other way, you'll score at a half. So either way, you'll end up with 1/2 inch on 3 sides to create the pockets. Okay, so I already took care of the other one. You will need 2 of these. Now again, if you're not familiar with the lay flat binding, or binding, I shouldn't say binding, I should say cover, the lay flat cover method, then you will check out that video that I linked in my description, and I go through the whole process. So the process is exactly the same no matter what size album cover you want to make, but the beauty of it is that you totally can lay that book flat when you open it up. So a lot of times with the other ways of making the covers, you can't lay the book completely flat. It is very hard to do. So anyway, this is a really nice method. It's also a lot easier to do for some folks, especially if you have some issues with your hands or arthritis or anything like that. It just seems to be a lot nicer. So anyway, so we've got our cover made. I'm going to put my notes here, and then we're going to have our pockets, and then we're just simply going to put 1 pocket on each side, and they're going to go completely flush with the side and the bottom here. And grab your glue and then just put your glue down. When I put my pattern paper in here, I'm going to have it extend clear into the pocket so that it covers up all the tabs. If you're not going to do that, then put a piece of tape across the pocket, and then that way your tags and things won't stick. And I got glue like inside my pocket here, which I didn't want. They won't stick. So I'll tell you what, we'll do it this way, and then I'll show you the tape trick if you haven't seen it. It's really kind of cool. So I'm just lining this up to the edge, maybe. There we go. Something was not feeling right. Now it's always a good idea to also dry fit, which I already had done off camera, just to make sure that your pocket doesn't go into, you know, your fold too much, because then that will hinder closing your book. Now to show you the tape method, in case you're going to do that and then use, you know, like a piece of pattern paper that just kind of goes into the pocket but doesn't go all the way down, the first thing you'd want to do is put your glue on the bottom, and you notice I didn't put it on the sides because I'm going to go ahead and open that up. So I'm going to just wipe up my glue here. Make sure that's a good stick, and then get some tape. Now some folks use, this is just plain old, like, you know, Scotch wrapping tape for your packages and stuff. Some people use, packing tape, like big packing tape for your packages and whatnot. Okay, so anyways, you would just put that over the tab. Now this whole page here, that's going to be a little bit of an issue too, because the chipboard will be there on the other side of that. So I'm just going to put another little piece here. I'm going to cover that up. What that's going to do is smooth this out so that when you have the pocket closed, if you're not going to put pattern paper to cover that tab down all the way, then when you put this in, it will slide over those and it won't get caught on the edges of that. So that's kind of the tape trick to do. So If you aren't familiar with that, I forget where I learned that. I'm sorry. I wish I could remember. But it works really good. So if you're running low on paper or wanting to conserve it for some reason, that is an awesome trick to help do that. Okay, so that's the pockets that go on the inside cover. Okay, and then the last thing we're going to do is I did a ribbon closure. So we're going to turn this over, and I'm going to grab 2 pieces, and this is purple seam binding from Country Craft Creations, and I should say this is Artisan cardstock from Country Craft Creations, and the chipboard is also from there as well. But I took this purple and I cut it into lengths about 12 inches long, and then wet it down and crinkle it up and let it dry all crinkled up, and then you get that beautiful crinkly look to it. So we're going to add this to our book. So I'm just going to use my centering ruler and find the middle and put a little piece of score tape on there to attach it. So my book here is about 8.5 inches tall. So I'm going to just grab a little piece of tape right here at the center, put a little piece there, and put my seam binding right over that, right in the middle. Okay, and then if you want to match it, just in case you're a little bit off, what you can do is, let me do it this way, is just, oh good, I stuck that to my table, is put your seam, or your score tape here, and then match it so that it's perfectly placed, just in case you're a little bit off, where you placed, you know, your seam binding, and then you can just go like that, and then it'll match up perfect. Okay, so that's that. So that's all we need to do. So our cover is done. So we've got our closure ready to go. We'll put pattern paper over this, you know, at a later time. You've already seen that because I already did the walkthrough, and but that's ready to go. And then we have my pockets here. Okay, so now let's make the base pages. So the pages are fun. There's 2 of them. Get that off to the side here. And we've got more seam binding because we're going to be using that. And so for your base pages, and we're going to build a little bit more on here, but for the bases, you're going to need 2 pieces that are 9 by 8 1/4. That's the base page. And then you're going to need 2 pieces that are 11 1/4 by 9 1/4. And those are an additional page that I added onto it. Now, when I originally did this book, I think I already explained that I was thinking of an October daily, and I was kind of keeping it kind of simple, but it was too simple. So I decided in the designing, when I was putting it all together, I needed to add something. So that's where this guy came in. So we're going to, I'll show you how to do this, and it's really kind of cool. There's 2 pages in all, 2 page sets, I should say, but they have a lot of interaction. Okay, so for the pieces, let me get this out of the way. For the pieces that are the base pages, the 9 by 8 1/4, put them in your scoreboard with the 9 inch at the top and score at 3/4 and at 1. We're going to have 3/4 inch gussets in this album because there's going to be a lot of pockets and a lot of places to put pictures for this. So I wanted like a lot of room to also add embellishments if you wanted that. Okay, so both pages, base pages, are going to be scored like that. Now the additional pages, these are basically going to be scored the same way, but one's going to be opposite the other. So what I did was I scored them both the same way, and then I turned one over and then like rescored it. So I'll show you what I mean by that. So on this one here, we'll put the 9 1/4 at the top, 11 1/4 at the side. You're going to score at 1/2 all the way down and at 3/4 all the way down, and then go clear across and score at 8 3/4 all the way down. Okay, so that'll give you a 1/2 inch on this side, on the right side. It'll give you a 1/2 inch and then a 1/4 inch gusset here on the left side, and then turn it and then score at 8 1/4. And what that's going to do is give you a 3 inch place for a pocket. Okay, so I scored them both the same way, but then what I ended up doing was then I turned it over and then I scored it again, because this is going to be, yeah, so I scored it the same way, and then I turned it over and then I scored it down the lines again so it was opposite, because these are going to be on opposite sides. And that will kind of make more sense in a minute. But I just wanted to try and make it as easy as possible rather than rather than trying to explain that. So score them both the same way, but then on the second one, turn it over and then rescore the lines so that they're actually going the same way. Now with Artisan cardstock, it probably doesn't matter, but I have always learned that you make the groove where the bumps are on the other side and you fold it toward the bump, you know, so that's why I do that. All right, I hope that, I hope I didn't confuse you too much. So base pages, we're not going to miter anything. We're just going to fold and burnish. So again, this is going to be a 3/4 inch gusset, and then it's going to have that 1/4 inch give space that I like to use. And like that. So when you get your pages done, when we put them together, they're going to, the 3/4 inch pieces are going to glue together like that. Okay, so this will be kind of the base page. Okay, so we'll put this one to the side for now. This one is going to be our first page, and then yeah, we'll do that. That's done. Let's do this. Okay, so this one here, so the sides with the 1/2 inch and the 1/4 inch groove, that's going to fit on your page on the outside. So in order to do this, so the bottom here is going to make a pocket. So we are going to miter all of the tab on the pocket side, okay? But for right now, just cut straight up that line, okay, that kind of is in between the actual page and the pocket, and then make a tab like that, okay, all through both scores, okay? And then on the other side, we're just going to simply miter that one, all right? And then what you're going to do is cut this single 1/2 inch side out, because we don't really need that. And let me see if I can get it in the light so I can see what I'm doing. So cut that completely out. So right now, what you should have is a piece that has the bottom tabs for the pocket, and then this side completely cut out. Now this side is cut flat. What we're going to do is just miter the 1/2 inch tabs only, okay? 1/2 inch tab, and miter the 1/2 inch tab. You want that 1/4 inch gusset piece right here to stay intact on the page, so it's flat on the top and the bottom. Okay, let's do that again on the other side. Now this one will be the opposite, okay, because one side is for one and one side is for the other. So we're just going to cut the tab here, and then we're going to cut that 1/2 inch tab all the way up and out. I love making pockets like this because then I don't have like a second piece that I have to try and fit on. So I do this a lot, you know, kind of do this configuration kind of thing that I talk about a lot. And I have a new one of those kinds of albums coming out next. So where all the pages are kind of configured from one piece and folded and cut in strategic ways to make different page things. So that's, I always like doing that. I think it's kind of fun. Okay, so you should have two pieces that look like this, if you can see that, and they are opposite of each other. Okay, so then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to fold our pockets, and we're going to adhere the tabs down so that we close the sides. Now the side that has the 1/2 and the 1/4, just go ahead and fold that at the 1/4. You can use that whole 3/4 inch piece to create the sides of the pockets. It's not a big deal. You don't have to cut anything off of that. Just go ahead and use it and add our glue. Like so. Okay, so we have our pocket, and then you can just fold and burnish your tabs. And then we have our additional page piece done, like so. Okay, so this one will go on the back page. It'll flip open, and then you'll have the pocket. The pocket goes on the inside. Okay, so let's do the other one. So do it again, fold the pocket up. We'll do this. We'll fold that in. So the 3/4 inch tab there, we're just going to use it. And then while I'm at it, I'll just go ahead and do this because it's a little easier to do it without the pocket in the way. Like so. Okay. Then we'll go ahead and glue on our tabs to create our pocket. And again, these will fold up and go on the inside of the page. All right, like so. So now you should have 2 page additions that will have their attachment tabs on opposite sides and the pockets on the inside, and then the other side will be flat. Okay, so then grab our base page. So remember, our base pages, you can see it from the top side, the 3/4 inch pieces are going to end up attaching to each other the way that I bind my books. Okay, so this will be the top page, this will be the back page. Okay, so we're going to take this page, the binding piece will bind to that edge, so it's going to open up just like that. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab our glue. Whoa, sorry about that, guys. Jeez. Grab our glue and we're gonna just put it right to the edge. Make sure, you know, your pocket's on the inside. Don't glue the 1/4 inch gusset down. We just want glue on the 1/2 inch side. Okay. Make sure, so when we open it, we'll have a pocket on the inside. Okay. Just like so. Okay. And that is the page. So when you look at it from the top side, this is the first page, base page, additional page with a pocket. That's how it's going to look. All right, now let's make another one. It'll be the opposite. Okay, so we have to turn this over. Okay, and then we're going to add this page to the outside. So again, we're going to grab glue. Okay, and then just attach that right to the edge of your base page. There we go. Open that up. All right, so then when we attach this page to this page with the 3/4 inch gusset, so you can see how it's going to open up like so. Okay, so that's what you should have right now. Fair enough? Okay, so then what we're going to do is add a few more things. So we're going to do what I am calling like the Gatefold mini page. Now I already created one, and what this is going to do is we're going to attach it into our book, and it will flip, and then it will have a flip that goes up like that. All right, so it's kind of, well, actually it's not even really a gatefold, it's just a I originally thought it was going to be gatefold, but I did it different, a little bit different. But anyway, this is what we're going to do. So you're going to need 2 pieces that are 6 5/8 by 12, and we're going to put in the scoreboard 6 5/8 at the top, and you're going to score each of them at 1/2 and at 5/8. All right, and then turn it so that the 12 is at the top and score it at 6. All right, so then what you're going to do is we're going to get this out of the way, and this particular page is going to have a flip up like this. We're going to make them opposite again. So if you think about it opposite, then we're going to have the tab on this side. So what we're going to do is keep this bottom tab, and we'll cut the top tab off. Now I'm just cutting it straight across, and I'm cutting out all of the scores so that we'll end up with a 6 by 6 page up there. Okay, then we'll fold and burnish. And this will have an 1/8 inch gusset, so we'll have plenty of room to add things. And then just make sure that I fold that 1/8 inch gusset. Okay, so this will be the attachment to the page, okay? And then this flap will fold down like so. Okay, you don't have to miter the corners on these if you don't want to, but now, well, of course, I did it backwards. So here we go, which is easy to fix because it's Artisan cardstock. You guys, sorry, been a little crazy around here, so okay, now we're good. And after I went through all that telling you about the scoring. Okay, so you should have two pieces that are kind of opposite of each other, okay? Tabs on the side, and then they both open up. Okay, so then grab your base page, so grab one of them. Now, this page, what it's going to do is it's going to adhere on this side. So you're going to want it to adhere down so that when it opens up, then you will have your flip up, okay? So we're going to grab our glue. Going to put it on the glue here, and you can put this anywhere you want. I am going to center it, but you could, you know, put it up a little bit. You could put it down a little bit, however you want to do it. And then I'm going to just measure my page here. So it's about 4 1/8 on either side of the center for my page. And then the page that I'm adding is 6 inches, so it'll go at the 3 inch mark. Now just make sure that you don't go into the score. All right, and then that will just lay just like that, and then that page will go over the top like that. When you open it up, it will open up, and then that flip will come up, okay? And I called it a gatefold because on my practice album, I did do a gatefold where it folded down on top and the bottom, but then when I got the papers, I got a really cool idea, so I changed it a little bit. But that's why that kind of is a misnomer there. It's not really gatefold. Okay, so you should have a page that looks like this. Now we're going to grab the second one. We're going to turn it over. I'm going to drop that. Okay, so we're going to open it up. Pockets on this side. This page here will lay down on this side, and then it will flip up and then open up like that. Okay, so make sure that 1/2 inch tab is flat, and grab my glue. All right, grab my ruler, line it up, and then put it down. And be careful, just go right to the score, not all the way. All right. Okay, so there's that. Okay, last thing we need to do before we move on to the next piece is you're going to need 4 pieces total, 12 inches a piece, to make a closure. So we're going to go, so if you fold this up, this opens up, here's the pocket, here's the flip. Open it up, we're going to put the seam binding on the inside of this base page, okay? So I'm just going to turn it to my side, and we're going to center it and do that whole process of adding our score tape to the center, which on this one is about at 4 inches. And I'm going to do that down here too, like so. And then we'll add our seam binding like so. And then this will be the closure for the entire thing, which is going to be kind of cool. If I can get my seam binding a little bit more on the flat side, that would be awesome too. Here we go. All right. So then what that's going to do is when we close our book, we'll close it like this, and then this will tie over the top and keep everything contained. So let's do that to the second piece here. And then we'll move on to the last parts, and then we're almost done. Basically, after we get this done, we'll do our waterfalls, and then we are going to be done with the construction. And then it's just a matter of putting your pattern paper on. So let's see, 4 inches, like so. There we go, like so. All right, and this one got really crinkly. If they're really crinkly on the ends, really try to make sure that they're flat when you put them down, so that it doesn't cause like a bubble underneath your pattern paper. Okay, so we have that. So there you go. All right, so we have those done. Now, the next thing we're going to do is make our waterfalls. Now, for our waterfalls, we do need a couple things. We do need to put our pattern paper on first. So let me grab that and get this out of the way. And all right, I love this paper, it's so cute. All right, so we have our pattern paper, our base pages. Here's our waterfalls. So for the waterfalls, I'm doing a variation of my roundabout waterfall. So we're going to need 8 pieces of paper that are 6 by 8.5. And then what you're going to do is, I've already prepared all the 7 of them, but I'll show you the 8th one here. Just to prepare them super easy is put it with the 8.5 at the top, score at 4 and at 4.5. And that's all you need to do to create your waterfalls. So to create your waterfalls, all you'll need to do is put your paper in with the 8.5 at the top, 6 at the side here, and then score at 4 and at 4.5. That's all you need to do for all 8 pieces. And then we are going to fold and burnish. And this is one of the reasons why I was thinking this was initially going to be my October daily, because once you get all 8 of these waterfalls on, you have 16 picture opportunities per page, which will give you more than enough to do a Halloween, like October daily, Halloween daily, whatever album. So what you're going to do next is grab your base page. Okay, so let's make sure it's in the proper orientation. So this one will be the back page. Okay, this one is going to be the front page. All right, so let's grab the front page first. Okay, so we have our front. When we open it up, you should have the pocket here. You have the flip like that. Okay, so we're in the right orientation. Okay, so the next thing we'll do is I'm going to open it up just so I can get rid of some of the bulk from underneath it. And then we're going to put our pattern paper right on the top. Okay, so you have to do that first. So I did go ahead and ink all my pattern papers, and I'm using Tim Holtz, and it's Vintage Photo is like my favorite one. I think I use that almost every time. I love it. And I don't tend to use black. I like kind of the distressy look of the brown on it. So I cut my papers 1/8 of an inch smaller than the piece I'm covering. So my pattern papers for this will be 7 7/8, and I'm double checking because I want to make sure, by 8 1/8. Yes, yes. So there's that. Okay, so now that that's covered, we need 4 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 for each page. All right, so then we're simply going to just set them on all 4 sides. So I'm going to start at the bottom just because I'm going to get this up. So I'm going to center on the page. So my page is 8 1/4 wide there. I'm going to put some glue on that 1/2 inch of my waterfall piece. Turn it upside down. And I'm going to glue it here. Now these waterfalls will measure, the pages themselves will measure 6 by 4. So you will have to trim your pictures down a little bit. But in order to kind of save some cardstock, I did cut them at 6 inches so you could get 2 waterfalls from each piece of cardstock. All right, so that'll go there. Then we just turn and do the same thing, and you can open those up if you want to get them out of your way. Grab a second waterfall, grab your ruler. Now the sides are 4 1/8 from center, okay, because they're 8 1/4 inch tall, so you will have to adjust that. And then again, we're going right to the edge of the page, okay, right to the edge of the cardstock page, okay, so not to the edge of the pattern paper. I'm going clear to the edge of the page. Okay, and then turn. And at the top, it's 4 inches, so put that at center. Like so. Now this is the only page that you definitely have to cover with pattern paper first before you add anything to it. So when you're designing your album, you know, if you want to use different papers than what I did, just make sure that you get those out and get them ready to go, because you will need those for this. Now, I have forgotten to do this on some of my albums, and there is a fix for it, and I will tell you how to do that in case you do it, and don't panic because it can be fixed. But what you will end up doing if you forget to put your pattern paper down before you put your waterfalls on, I'll show you here in a second. Let's put this one down first, so I'm centering that like so. Just make sure you don't get it in the score. Okay, so just outside the score. Okay. All right, so we have our waterfalls down. So the book will be oriented like this. Okay, so this is the front page, and then we'll close it like this, and then like this, and then like this, and then the tie will close over everything, and that will keep not only the waterfalls closed, but it will also keep this second page closed. Okay, so this will be kind of one complete unit. So now let me talk about this. So if you forget to put the pattern paper down first, don't panic because there is a fix. So then what you need to do is put a piece of pattern paper down in the middle, and you will cut it at, let's see, this is 7 by 7 1/4. So cut it 6 7/8 by 7 7, or 6 7/8 by 7 1/8, okay? And then lay your pattern paper down. Then you'll have these little squares that are empty, okay? So those are opportunities. You can, what I have done is I punched out like a heart shape and then put little hearts around, or you could do little squares of something here that's just separate. So if you measure these little squares, this one's about 7/8. No, excuse me, it's about 1 inch by 1 inch and 1/8 or so. So measure that, and then you could put like another little square here. So it is fixable. So don't panic if you forget to do that, okay? So this is the front of our album, and it will tie here. When you untie it, you will have your pages. Okay, and then you'll have this nice big area. You can put photo mats here. You could lay journaling cards in here, whatever you want to do. Then these will close up, and then you can open this up. You're going to have a nice pocket here. You'll have this half page that flips open like so, and then you have another big space here. Okay, so that part is, this part is done. Okay, as far as the construction, What is catching? Caught that. You can round corners if you wish, all that stuff. You know, however you want to design this. Tie that in a pretty bow, and then here is your front page. So you see you still have your 1/4 inch give space here, and you still have your 3/4 inch piece that we're going to attach to the spine. So let's do the other side, and then we'll attach it to the spine, and then we're basically done with this tutorial. Okay, so this is the inside. We want to turn it over to where the outside flips open like that. So your pocket is here, your page is here, okay? So that's the orientation you want to keep this one in. All right, so I'm going to open it up just so that I have my, you know, stuff out of the way from underneath. And then we're going to add our page, and then we're just going to simply add our waterfalls. So I will do that, and then it's just exactly the same as we already did, and then I will be right back. All right, so I'm done putting the waterfalls on. So when you look at the pages in the book, they're going to open up like this, and then you'll have this really awesome 2-page spread. And my thoughts on this were, since it is for like an October daily is how I'm thinking of it, then this would be a really cool place to kind of do your October 31st pictures here. So the fronts and the backs, you could do all the daily stuff. There's pockets you can stick, you know, like recipes if you do like some spooky recipes for parties or whatever. But this would be the center of the book, and this is going to be my pictures for Halloween. And then you turn it, and then you have your other pages here. So the first half of the month on the front, second half of the month on the back, and then all the pockets and stuff. So let's put it in the book, and then we are done. So we have our book, and I do need to get my inside. Let's see, where did I put it? Okay, so I do have a piece of paper that I'm going to put down on the inside of the spine first before I add my pages, and I don't normally do that. I usually just do the strips, but for this time I kind of want to do that. So this is totally, you know, if you want to do this. And I just love this wood pattern, and I had the perfect strips, so you know, I had to use it. So let's do that. Glue that down right in the middle here. Okay. I love that wood pattern. It is so pretty. Okay. There. Okay. So then let's grab our first page. We're going to turn it to the side. I'm going to grab my ruler, pencil, and I'm going to measure 3/4 of an inch from the fold where the spine piece is. Okay, just trying to see that, and I'm going to draw a little pencil line there. Okay, so that's going to help me. It's very faint, and that's okay because I don't really want to see it afterwards. So I'm going to make sure, I'm just going to peek, make sure I got the right page. So I do. I'm going to fold, so my 3/4 inch tab is here, and add my glue. And then I'm just going to center this. I'm going to eyeball it. I'm going to glue that 3/4 inch piece down only, not the 1/4 inch piece, because that's our little give space that'll help us, and lay that down, make sure it's kind of looking like it's centered here. And it looks like it is. There we go. Press that down. Open that up. And press that down. Okay. Okay. So then I'm going to take my second page, and like I always do, what I'm going to do is glue that tab right on the top so that when we turn the page, it's going to go just like that. So that way we won't see any tabs, and we'll have 3/4 inches between the covers and these two pages. So there's going to be lots of ability to do embellishments. And some of the Halloween embellishments are a little thick. So, you know, there's that. All right, so I'm going to lay that down there, right up to the score, not in the score. Make sure that it is centered. There we go. All right. And then that is that. So you guys, the book is constructed. It's just a matter of putting the pattern papers on now. But what you will have is an album that will look like this, okay? And then we'll have the tie closure here. And then this will open up. And you'll have all your waterfalls, okay? Just like so. And a big place to store pictures or put a nice secret picture in there. You're going to have a pocket page here. You're going to have the 6-inch page with a flap. You'll have a nice opportunity for photos here. And then you're going to have a pocket on the cover too. So this is kind of like a 3-page spread here once you open this all up. And then you will open to the center page and you will have a really nice big scrapbook style 2-page opportunity for a really cool layout. And then you'll open this up and then this will do the same thing as the front. So then you'll have the 3-page spread here. Okay, so that is my tutorial. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'd be more than happy to answer them. I hope you enjoyed this, and please go to Country Craft Creations at countrycraftcreations.com and grab Bewitching Hour. This is an amazing collection. You will get 3 of each of the designs, so 3 pages of each of the designs, plus you will get 2 pages each of the cut-aparts and the journal cards. So there's a lot of paper in here, and look at how beautiful and gorgeous it is. So you'll get, I can't even talk today. So you're going to get a ton of paper, and it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful collection. So I think you're going to enjoy it. So countrycraftcreations.com. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time with my next project. Bye-bye.